Hello to all of you, sons and daughters of the light out there. I'd like to give discussions about this book, Corona Class Lessons by Jesus and Kuthumi. This is published by the publishing house of the Summit Lighthouse, the Summit University Press in 1986. It contains 48 lessons dictated by Jesus and Kuthumi to the then messenger of the Great White Brotherhood, Mark and Elizabeth Clare Prophet. You might think that the word corona pertains to the present coronavirus pandemic. No, it isn't. It means the glowing white corona in the atmosphere of the sun in our solar system. Or it can also mean the halo of white light that sometimes can be seen upon the head of the saints, alluding to the radiant illumination pouring forth to the minds and consciousness of mankind, coming from the realm of the great central sun, or the heaven world. This is the cover page of the book. The holy man standing there illustrates St. Francis of Assisi, communing with birds and nature. St. Francis was canonized as saint in 1228 by Pope Gregory IX, 2 years after St. Francis' death. St. Francis is known to have transcendental experience of understanding the language of birds and other animals and even trees, thus enabling him to communicate with nature kingdom. He is also known to have experiences of Jesus' crucifixion while in Epiphany, and had actually borne the wounds on his palms, feet, and on the left side of his body, known as stigmata. He renounced wealth and family and embraced the life of poverty. It is known that he taught reincarnation in the public squares. Saint Francis is one of the embodiments of Kuthumi. Kuthumi is one of the Mahatmas or Masters of Wisdom from Sigacha, Tibet, who communicated with Helena Blavatsky and helped establish the Theosophical Society together with El Moya. Other embodiments of Kuthumi were Pharaoh Thutmose III in Egypt, Greek philosopher, musician and mathematician Pythagoras. He was Balthazar, one of the three Magi who paid a visit to baby Jesus in Bethlehem. Shah Jahan, Emperor of India and grandson of Akbar the Great. Then his final embodiment as Kuthumi. In the office of hierarchy, he serves as the world teacher along with beloved Jesus. It is written on the cover page, "For those who would teach men the way," implying it is for the preachers. But of course, it is also for every seekers of truth and students of the light. The 48 lessons are divided under 8 headings, as you can see. The Corona Class Lesson 1 is about Brotherhood under the heading Correspondence. It was dictated by Kuthumi. I'll not discuss in detail the contents in each lesson. I'll just give and explain some brief quotes for copyright reason. I'll probably introduce relevant information and concepts which is not even found in the book to serve as additional spiritual food for thought for the day. Beloved Kuthumi started with his address. To my friends who have espoused the spiritual life. If you read the lesson, it becomes apparent that the word brotherhood refers to the Brotherhood of Light, or the Great White Brotherhood, and the Brotherhood encompasses the nature kingdom. Kuthumi in his dictation recounts his experiences regarding the nature kingdom when he was Francis of Assisi. Let me quote this. He says, "When I was embodied as Francis of Assisi, I came to realize through studying the birds and animals that by power of concentration, saturated as it was with the love of God and His love in man, would draw me into an understanding of the God intelligence acting in nature. Imagine, if you can, the joy in my soul when I found that the lovely trees were endowed with spiritual beings, angelic overseers of great stature and beauty, whose power guided the development of molecular form, pattern, luster of leaf, and inherent healing properties. I felt the radiant energy reaching out from the silent sentinels capturing the heart. Oh, heaven was not apart from me, for I perceive all things visible to be but the hem of the garments of heaven. Touching just the physical hem, I was made whole. What would happen when I touched the whole robe? I longed to know. Thus, in order to reach this transcendental goal, which I firmly believed was attainable, I set my mind to the path of spiritual illumination. Day by day, my mind was made holier still through contact with the spiritual realms. My one-pointed dedication to the path and my contemplation of the holiness of all life were the keys to my assimilation of that holiness, which clearly seemed to permeate myself and everything around me. As my soul expanded in the transfusing light which God poured into me, I was exalted time and again by His glory expressed through the nature kingdom. The seemingly dumb creatures of field and forest came into unity with me through God's love, and then at last I too could speak their language, calling them brother. How much more should all children of the light love one another and have reverence for the smallest part of life? Out of all these transcendental experiences, my soul was stirred with great yearning to communicate in others the boundless wisdom vouchsafed to me by God. So you see, Saint Francis even called the creatures of the fields as brother, as he had these holy mystical experiences of being one with nature. You may recall that I mentioned in my previous post that the elemental forces of nature are earth, water, air, fire, and akasha, and each has hierarchs which we can call upon, namely Virgo and Pelur, Neptune and Luara, Aries and Thor, Ouroboros and Diana, and Zeus and Tara, and they are under the hierarchies of Elohim. The nature spirits are very intelligent beings, and they take care of the formation and functions of land masses, mountains and rocks, birds and animals, trees and plants, rains and clouds, and other parts of nature. Some of the nature spirits have become rebellious because of myriad negative vibrations and energies projected by man, like their discordant thoughts and feelings, and abuse of the environment. Yes, mankind's thoughts and feelings can affect the nature spirits, and they bear that burden. And there are times when the accumulated burden reaches a certain point that it becomes unbearable. So they somehow release those burdens in the form of tornadoes and other cyclones, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and other natural calamities to bring order and balance in the nature kingdom. Perhaps the present pandemic is part of that, whether the coronavirus is man-made or not, I think. We can call to hierarchs of the elements to direct our vile flame decrees for the purification of our own four lower bodies and that of the planet, which essentially are one with elemental forces of nature. By doing so, it somehow provides some relief to the elemental spirits, and the natural calamities can be mitigated as a result. There are some advanced unascended beings who are members of the Brotherhood of Light. I think we all need to aspire to become members of the Brotherhood. We do this by our effort of giving our prayers, meditations, and dynamic decrees, as well as pursuing the path of karma yoga, or doing our service to life, and outpicturing the God qualities and virtues in order to unite with our Holy Christ presence and God presence. As we raise our vibrations and consciousness and gaining self-mastery, we can come to a point where we can be part of the Brotherhood. It is intended that life on earth should reflect the life of the Brotherhood of Light, where all things bright and beautiful are being experienced. Do you know that there were dictations that somehow into the future it will be normal for the ascended masters and angels to materialize themselves and walk and talk with mankind on earth? I don't know when that will be, but it will likely be at higher stage of our evolution. One important contributing factor towards this realization is by spreading the teachings of the Ascended Masters, by feeding the sheep of our Lord. We can read in John chapter 21 verse 4 to 17 that Jesus asked Simon Peter 3 times, "Lovest thou me?" Peter always answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love thee." And Jesus always responded, "Feed my sheep." I think Jesus' statement is applicable for preachers and laymen alike. After all, we all preach and teach our children. We sometimes give counsel and advice to members of our family, relatives, and friends. And it will be better if the comfort of our advice is in tune with the truth of cosmic law, as a manna from heaven world of the Brotherhood. Beloved Kuthumi ended this Corona class lesson with this statement. To this calling, the Spirit of the Brotherhood leads you, that by expanding your light, you may answer the call of Christ to feed my sheep. The salutation of the ascended Jesus Christ be with you, together with my own. Your cosmic teacher, Kuthumi. Thank you. Next time, or maybe next week, the lesson is about you. God bless and enjoy your day or evening.